Hi there guys. Okay, and so following on from my video about my Sega Saturn fighting versus fighting game collection, I'm kind of pulled out and looking at all the shooters that I have for the Saturn. Now it's very interesting when you talk about Saturn shooters, because I guess when you do mention that phrase, the first thing that comes to mind is the 2D vertical and horizontal shooters, like the arcade classics that you get. But looking at my Saturn collection, you know, there's a wide range of different kind of shooters on the Saturn, and there's a load of different games. So, showing you what I have in my collection, I found that it doesn't just only cover the 2D vertical and horizontal shooters. I'm going to show you pretty much what I have in regards to my collection. It's quite small, but as you can see here, I've got a couple of piles. This pile here, these are the vertical and horizontal, you know, those classic shooters that you think about when you think of Saturn shooters and arcade shooters. Now I've got 4 other distinct piles here, and what I've done is kind of separate them out into what I kind of think of sub-genre of shooters. So in this pile here, you've got your behind view shooter, effectively. You'll see them when I get to them. Here you've got a list, a pile of first person shooters. Here I've put these into a pile of platforming shooters, or platforming, you know, horizontal shooters, and these are kind of area or arena shooters here. So you know, there's not just only the classic arcade shooters, but there is a variety of different shooters, and from my collection I can see that's quite apparent. This is most likely going to be quite a long video, so hopefully if you're into your Saturn and you're into your shooters, or into both of those in fact, stick around and you can see what I've got in my collection, and I'll go through these. I'll start with this pile here. Now this is the biggest pile, and I'll try and go through as quickly as I can. The first 2 games in this pile, I snag upon an issue kind of defining them. Now I've put horizontal and vertical shooters in this pile, and as you can see, the first one I've got on here is actually Space Invaders. The second one being Layer Section 2. Now with Space Invaders, you obviously know what the style of Space Invaders looks like. You know, it's that vertical arcade style look to it. So I'm going to kind of classify that as a vertical shooter, although it's kind of more old school retro, but I've put that in the pile for vertical shooters. And you know, I don't know whether to you know subcategorize that or what. I don't really know what else to put it as, but that's the best kind of, out of these 5 categories, that's the best one I could think to put it into. Same with Layer Section 2. Now obviously Layer Section, the first game, is straight up 2D arcade style, and this one is, they changed the format up a bit. It's kind of 2.5D, you know, almost. It's got it's based in like a polygon, like a 3D world, but it's still got that horizontal. It's got that still vertical style. So it's kind of sub 2D, but it's vertical shooter. So again, a bit of a tricky one to classify that, but I just put it with the vertical horizontal shooters, although it's more 3D than 2D. The rest of these are pretty much all 2D shooters. I guess Space Invaders is obviously a 2D shooter. So let's have a look through. Okay, so we've got next one, shienryu, another arcade port. Mostly all these are going to be from the arcade, so you'll see that. shienryu, 2D vertical shooter. To let you know, I do prefer the vertical shooters over the horizontal ones, so you'll see I've got more vertical shooters than I do horizontal ones. And shienryu is one of the most breathtaking shooters on this Saturn. The effects on the graphics in this game are just mind-blowing, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game to play. That boss there, you can see this one here, this octopus kind of red boss. It's got the effects when you play against this box with the arms flailing around. It's got some fantastic visual effects, and it's absolutely stunning. So that's a great game. This is a 2D. This is vertical This is called Time Bokan. It's a very quirky, unusual shooter. It comes from an old Japanese anime series, kind of similar to, like, not Pokemon, but you know, it's kind of that kind of style you can see from the artwork there. So that's a vertical shooter where you drive around in these ships and defeat the. Well, actually, you play as the bad guys in this game. Actually, I believe so. It's quite an interesting take on a shooter. Great, another arcade classic, batsugun. You know, Saturn exclusive. So really happy to have this. Oh, there's something in the way. You can't see the screenshots, but batsugun is an arcade port. There's actually two versions on here, so you effectively get two games, a Saturn version and an arcade version. So, you know, great bang for your buck on that one. Horizontal game here now. I pretty much picked this up because it was cheap, and you know, I'm a bit of a fan of the anime series. So this is the Macross Super Dimension Fortress Macross. It's a horizontal shooter, and it's kind of, you know, very story driven, but based on a kind of like an anime. It's okay. It's not that long. It's a load of cutscenes in it, which takes a lot away from the gameplay. But I picked it up because it's Macross, and I like anime. So dodonpachi, the sequel to Dodonpachi, vertical spaceship shooter. Great graphics. You know, what more can be said about this game that already hasn't been said? So yeah, that's Dodonpachi. Loads to get through. Soukyugurentai. This is you know, renowned for being really difficult. It's a real tough shooter, really. If you're into your shooters and you like a good old challenge, I've said before, this is the game to get. Yeah, that's that one. Strikers 1945. The vertical spaceship. Well, it's not a spaceship shooter. It's just an airplane shooter. It's like a World War II kind of style, set in the future, I believe, or some sort of post-apocalyptic future. I love the series. I love playing it on MAME, so it's great. I'm really happy they released an arcade Saturn version. Layer section. Here's the layer section. This is the classic 2D vertical arcade port. One of the best shooters on the system and one of the cheapest as well. So double whammy on that one. Definitely, if you're into your shooters and you want to get into your Saturn, this is probably the first game you want to pick up, because it's great. It's a great price. You can get it for a great price. Soul Divide. This is a horizontal shooter. This is another arcade port as well, and it's got great, stunning visuals, and it's kind of dark and mystic. You know, it's got a nice storyline to it. Very different to your normal kind of shooters. It's not spaceship shooter driven. You actually play as the person, the characters in there, and you fly across the screen. Kind of similar to like Death Smiles, you know, on the Xbox. Radiant Silvergun. This is a vertical shooter. This is a bit of a well-renowned kind of classic, so definitely a must-have eventually on the Saturn if you can get it or play. It's on the Xbox Live as well, which is cool, so probably best to get it on that. I've got it on Xbox and it's great. It's got loads of different video modes and stuff. Gun Frontier, probably not a well-known game, but this was in the arcade. This is part of the Arcade Gears range. It's a vertical shoot-'em-up, 2D style based. If I can get some screenshots in there. It's very similar art style to Battle Gregor. However, it's a very simplistic game, straightforward shooter. No fancy kind of shooting mechanics or anything on there. This is a double whammy. You get two games on here. This is a thunderforce pack. So this is like a Mega Drive and arcade version. This is you get thunderforce 4 and thunderforce AC. And they're horizontal shooters, thunderforce AC being the arcade version of thunderforce 3, which basically means they made it for the arcade, so it's a lot harder, more challenging difficulty, but it's essentially the same exact game. Tiger Plus, this is from Naxxaxop. This is a vertical horizontal helicopter shooter, so something a bit different here is the reason I picked it up. I like a helicopter shooter. And it's really cool they did one for the Saturn. I can't get a good zoom on there. Probably can't see that very well. But that's another vertical helicopter shooter. And this is another double pack. So you get two games on here. This is the twinbee deluxe pack. You get twinbee Yahoo. Let's have a look. Detana twinbee Yahoo. So it's called Detana, Twinbee, Yahoo. So you get Detana, Twinbee, and Twinbee, Yahoo. So that's 2 games. They're vertical shooters. They're like cute 'em ups. If you heard that term before, it's like a cute shooter, very colourful, anime, cartoony based shooter. Skullfang arcade shooter with a bit of a different play mechanic to your normal vertical shooters. Yeah, it's an arcade port, so you can play it on MAME if you don't have a Saturn. Quite a cool game. I like it. It's very different. It's probably not to everyone's liking, but because it's got a bit of a different formula to your normal shooter, is why I like it. Darius, this is Gaiden, so this is a horizontal shooter. One of the few that I have, but because it's it's got a great pedigree in the Darius games, it's definitely worth me having. And I love the visuals in here, absolutely stunning. Again, another one of the most best utilised games on the Saturn hardware. Absolutely great. Look at the cover art on that as well, beautiful. It's all about fish in that. Really strange. This is one of the Capcom Generation collections. This is the first one, and this has 3 shooters on it. So each of these Capcom Generation games have 3 games. And this one has... Oh, nearly dropped it there. Not Strikers. It has 1942, 1943, and 1943 Kai. And yeah, they're all vertical arcade 2D shooters. You can see there, and they all play absolutely fantastic. Brilliant arcade ports, absolutely perfect to play on the Saturn. And again, a great game like these ones you get that have like more than one game on them. They're great value for money. Strikers 1945 Part 2, and this is a nice update to the first game. As you can see, another kind of World War style post-apocalyptic airplane shooting game. It's a vertical 2D shooter, and that's from the arcade as well. This is probably another one of the cheapest games you can find or get on the Saturn, and it's from Atlas, and you can't go wrong with their games. It's Soukyugurentai as well, developed. So this is a vertical 2D shooter, semi-cute, but it's got great graphics and visuals and a funny storyline, great interesting weird characters. I won't go too much into it, but it's definitely a must because it's one of the cheaper 2D shooters to have on the Saturn. And finally, one of my absolute favourites actually on the Saturn. I'm enjoying playing this loads and loads because there's so many hidden ships to unlock. This is the Sonic Wings collection, but Sonic Wings Limited. So it's kind of, in the arcade you've got Sonic Wings, Sonic Wings 2, Sonic Wings 3, and you got Sonic Wings Special Limited. But this is Sonic Wings Special, which is you can see it from these 3 screenshots. It's an amalgamation of all the Sonic Wings games and characters into one special version for the Saturn. And let me tell you, this is one of my favourite shooters on the Saturn, and I'm really loving it because it's great to go and find it and unlock hidden stuff, and there's loads and loads of hidden characters and planes to unlock on that game. Okay, let's move on to some other sub-genres now, which is quite interesting. So let's do this one here. This is kind of like the platforming shooter collection. So you can see here, Elevator Action Returns. No, that's not really good screenshots on there, is there? But this is from the arcade. So if you know about the Elevator Action games, this is the second one from the arcade, and it's kind of platform level based. So it's a 2D. It's a 2D view, and you move from side to side or up and down, obviously, because there's elevators. Now this is strange. I've put this one in here. This is Taromaru. I put this in here because I do classify it as a shooter, because effectively you do just shoot stuff. It's a 2D scrolling arcade game, and yeah, I've classified it as a shooter. This is another one I kind of had a shall I or shan't I, but I put it in there because it is effectively a shooter. You do shoot things with your staff and your magic. So yeah, 2D side-scrolling. Same as this one, Assault Suit Leynos 2. This is like, I think comes from the Valkyrie series, Assault Suit Valkyries, and there was one on the Super Nintendo. That's you can see from there. That's 2D side-scrolling, platforming, level-based shooter for the Saturn. So, you know, loads of shooters on the Saturn, and all in different kind of genres. And obviously, you know, the classic Metal Slug as well, side-scrolling shooter action from SNK. So that's the platforming, side-scrolling kind of genre. This genre I've classified as area or arena shooter. So this is Blood Factory. So it's kind of like a top-down. These are both, you know, top-down kind of 2D shooters. Well, this is kind of 2.5D, to be honest. This has got is that a screenshot there? You can't really see. This has got great graphics. It's like an arena shooter, and you just go through finding keys to unlock doors on levels and just blasting the hell out of bad guys. And it seems to be some sort of prison complex or something, but it's a fantastic play, and I absolutely love the gore in this game. It's absolutely bloody and fantastic to play. Another Capcom Generations compilation, another 3 games, and these are all top-down arena shooters or area shooters, as I put them. So you get Mercs on here, Mercs 2 and Gunsmoke. So there's the top-down Capcom arcade classic releases there. So 2 left now. So we've got first-person shooters, and we got kind of behind cockpit view kind of shooters. So, you know, obviously starting with Afterburner, you can see that kind of, you know, it's a shooter, but it's kind of behind the cockpit kind of view style to it. Great game, loads of difficulty, quite a tough game, being port of the arcade board. So it's a great release on the Saturn. However, Night Striker S, I think I've banged on about this in the past. This is one of the best looking kind of style shooters on the Saturn that you can get. Real crazy Space Harrier style, crazy graphics, but again, behind cockpit kind of view style, and fantastic Saturn version. This is 3D now, but this is Sky Target. I've shown you this in a pickup. It's kind of it kind of looks like a 3D version of Afterburner, effectively. So it's like behind like an F-16 or whatever kind of fighter jet plane. It's a 3D. It comes from an arcade board release, so it's a port from an arcade game. Sky Target, and the obvious ones: Panzer, Dragoon. Fantastic game, classic on the system. Panzer to Dragoon 2, which is just great DLC, extra levels, and Space Harrier, another great behind the view kind of shooter on the Saturn. And lastly, Galaxy Force 2, which is another great behind the view arcade game. Here we go, if I can see the graphics from that. Great kind of, you know, super scaling effects on these classic Sega releases, so another one of my favourites here. And the last pile here, the first person shooters. These are, you know, I only have a few, so I'm still to get ones like Doom. Unfortunately, Quake wasn't released in Japan, so I might get a UK or US version of it. But this is Hexen. Obviously, it's not a shooter. It's if I can zoom, it's a 2D. It's first person, more of a melee, because you use melee weapons and magic in this. So if you know about Hexen, if you've played it, you know what it plays like. But that's a first person kind of view game. This is 3D Shooting Finalist, which is basically Japanese version of Tunnel B1. I had this on my UK PAL Saturn years and years ago. I didn't really give it much time. It's got a bit of a funny view when you first see it. It's kind of really low and kind of pitched upwards, which can take a bit of getting used to, but it's an okay game. Okay, this is not so much first person view, but it is more third person, but it's that kind of behind the... I should have put it with that. You see, it's hard to classify these lot, but it's a third person view effectively, but you roam around levels in kind of like a mech. I really want to do a review on this game. This is the most outstanding game I've ever played. 3D third person mech robot game. I really want to talk about this. This is a fantastic game. More on that later. Deadless, first person kind of survival game. Deadless is a great game, first person view. Set on, you take the role of this kind of whatever it is, gigantic tank kind of thing with all these weapons, and it's up to you just to scale the levels, and when you die, you're going to get one chance. Yeah, Daedalus is great. This is 1999. This is effectively the No Farah or something. I forget the English name of it, but it's a first-person shooter. It's got magic in there. It's a great shooter. One of the best-looking shooters, probably the best-looking shooter, technically, on the Saturn that you can get. That's a great game. Not so much a great game here now. j-swat. This is pretty much just to make up the numbers, I suppose. But I wanted to try it. It looked interesting. I heard a lot of bad reviews about it. So with a lot of bad games, I have to try it for myself. And yeah, it's not the best shooter at all that I've ever played. But it's fun to play because it's so bad. You know, it makes you laugh. And another great shooter, Gun Griffin. This is kind of like another mech warrior kind of game. You sit in kind of like a mech tank, and you just blow the hell out of stuff. And it's a great shooter fest. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. That's pretty much it. So as you can see, what I've pretty much done is showed you there are a lot of shooters and different kinds of shooters on the Saturn, not just your 2D vertical and horizontal ones. I've made a right mess of this place here now, haven't I? But that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've got any comments, leave them down below, any questions. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.